anniversary of the publication of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," a poem etched so deeply into so many of our childhood memories. We worked with the Library of Congress to bring a sampling of editions from the last 200 years here to the White House. You'll also notice that this year's gingerbread house, have y'all seen it? Yes. Oh my God.
And the amount of your rent rebate depends on your half income. Half of Social Security income cannot be excluded from the calculation. For example, if you receive $20,000 of Social Security, you may only count $10,000 as your income to qualify for the rent rebate. Folks, renters with an annual income of $8,000 or less will receive a rent rebate of $650. So hopefully this can help people out within the stimulus cash. There are billions of dollars in unclaimed money available. Checks are being distributed in varying ways, amounting from $50,000 to even $10,000. And now, 1 in 7 Americans qualify right now for some extra money. And now, according to Yahoo News, billions of dollars of unclaimed property is being held by state governments for safekeeping, just waiting for Americans to reclaim what's rightfully theirs. And like a giant lost and found, state treasuries look for financial assets, including missed paychecks and utility refunds they've abandoned or forgotten by their owners. Now, often people don't realize that they have unclaimed property but Oregon Treasurer Tobias Reed has announced the agency's plan to return approximately $10 million in unclaimed funds as part of the Checks Without Claims initiative. The effort will be the largest mass disbursement of funds by Oregon's unclaimed property program to date. Checks distributed will vary in varying amounts from $50,000 to $10,000. And the New York State Comptroller's Office is also currently holding $18 billion in everyday people's lost money, and it returns $1.5 million to people who file claims daily. And a lot of people are missing out on lots of claim filings. There are over $7 billion sent to go to people in June, and even more is coming. The Biden administration has also approved $20 million in investments to help finance clean energy projects, including installing electric vehicles, charging stations, retrofitting homes to make them energy efficient, and providing communities with battery backup power. Senior officials have said that the investment across 2 grant competitions aims to help communities that have faced historic underinvestment. Even Kamala Harris touted the investment Friday afternoon during an event. She said that the climate crisis is one of the most urgent matters, touching on how the communities in the U.S. are facing droughts, flooding, and even wildfire smoke. The 2 competitions, the National Clean Energy and Clean Communities Investment Accelerator, will allocate $14 to $6 billion for the projects, and the funding is part of the EPA Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. It will help so many people, folks. Plus, the White House said that both competitions will focus funding on low-income and disadvantaged communities, including the rural communities. At least 40% of funds in the $14 billion competition and all of the funds in the $6 billion competition will flow to these communities. Kamala Harris even said that the investments will help families' budgets by improving energy-efficient systems and public health by promoting clean energy and utility bills. First of all, the IRS is warning taxpayers about the opening of a 2023 tax filing season that they should expect a smaller refund. It's due to the crisis and the measures expected to expire. So the latest federal stimulus payment went out in 2021. It means that millions of people already received those stimulus payments as a recovery rebate credit that was effectively given as a tax refund. Millions more people received help through the crisis and through the expanded child tax credit, even though not a lot of people saw this happen. First of all, everybody, the latest federal stimulus payments were out in 2021. Millions of people have more received to help through the crisis through the expanded child tax credit that many progressives saw as an effective and important social safety net. The credit was allowed to expire by Congress, and the IRS said in a news release, due to the tax law, such as the elimination of the child tax credit and no recovery rebate credit this year to claim the crisis stimulus payments, many taxpayers may find the refunds somewhat lower this year. A tax break for charitable deductions was also allowed to expire, which could help affect more taxpayers. Plus, the IRS told the Hill that not all refunds are expected to be approved.
A blank check at your expense and the expense of the American people. On my watch, health care should be a right, not a privilege in this country. There are other ways the Inflation Reduction Act is lowering health care costs as well. As mentioned, beginning in 2025, the Inflation Reduction Act caps total out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare at $2,000 a year total. even if their expenses of cancer drugs that could cost $10,000, $12,000, $14,000 a year, max, cumulative, $2,000. The law already requiring that drug companies that raise prices faster than inflation have to pay the difference to the government between per month. This is, it's never happened before. And look, history's been made here, but it comes alongside the largest drop in unemployment rate in a single year on record.
The Senate in history of the United States has been amazingly and extraordinarily productive. 20 months into the Democratic majority, I just want to take a moment to highlight the many, many accomplishments we have secured in this chamber under Democratic leadership. It's the most in recent memory. The American Rescue Plan, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, the CHIPS and Science Act, the Gun Safety Bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, an omnibus package, and many other bills in between. Senate Democrats have worked hard every step of the way to improve the lives of American people, to help those in the middle class stay there, to help those struggling to get into the middle class a little easier to get there. And we will continue to do our work for the American people this week by passing a CR to keep the government open.
Benefits have lost around 40% of their buying power. One of the biggest proposals in the works is an increase in benefits for people who are ages 80 and older. Not only will this help older adults maintain buying power, but it will also provide a boost for retirees who are running low on savings. And while nothing is set in stone, this plan does propose increasing benefits by around 5%. And it's one of Washington's most divisive proposals, as only 53% of Americans, 53% of Republicans are in favor of voting for it. So if the Republicans decide to block this stimulus check, that means we won't be getting any stimulus payment if President Biden can't get this past the Republicans. But hopefully everybody he can, because President Biden can definitely send out stimulus checks if he's done it before. Now, the nearly 1.9 million borrowers who paid off their loans during the pause and those who refinanced their student loans during the pause into private loans do not qualify for the automatic stimulus check. Yes, people are getting automatic stimulus checks because in August, Biden extended the pause on repayment, interest, and collections, which began back in March 2020. And according to the Office of Federal Student Aid, about 9 million people, 9 million federal student loan borrowers have made at least one check and one payment to April 20 to March 20. Ton of information about the fourth stimulus check. We have to cover a lot of news in this video. So I want you guys to know that we have a ton of information to cover. So continue watching. And don't forget that if you want to get this Amazon gift card right here, all you have to do is redeem the code in the Amazon checkout aisle. It's a $50 Amazon gift card code. So pretty much just redeem the code and you'll get $50.